Joining me for further analysis on those market moves is Craig Pheiffer from Sasfin Wealth. Thank you so much for your time, Craig. It's actually been quite interesting because we have had this post-election rally with those U.S. markets reaching record highs, but now seeing a little bit of a turnaround there. Could we maybe just call this a breather at this point?
I think we can call it a breather. We had some extraordinary moves over the last week. And yeah, certainly as soon as those results started coming in and the market really jumped back onto the Trump trade. So we've seen a lot of volatility, but positive moves by and large, and also in the currency markets. Seen today the Rand pretty weak. I think it's all of that related. But US equity market, yeah, it's just modestly down today. Yeah. And we can definitely call it having a little bit of a breather.
All right. Well, let's take a look at some of the company news that came out of the JSE today. Quite a lot. Starting off with the MultiChoice coming out with the interim results. They started off noting that the macroeconomic backdrop was tougher than expected. The group, they're experiencing subscriber declines, also seeing bigger losses on the bottom line. It's a lot of bad news. Is it all bad?
Look, it's a tough story for MultiChoice, given that all of the expenses really are, well, a large part of the expenses are in dollars, and they earn in rands and emerging market currencies. So that's probably its structural weakness. But overriding all of that is the deal with Canal Plus that's on the table. They've only just submitted that to the Competition Commission at the end of September. That would still have to go to the Competition Tribunal. So there's still a lot hanging over the head of the company. But I think everyone's looking for the deal to hopefully go through and they'll get their price from Canal Plus in the long run.
All right, let's get into food because actually quite a lot of kind of food producers, companies, they're in that food space coming out with the numbers. Premier coming out with interim results, reporting a 3.7% climb in revenue and even bigger growth in the bottom line. What do you make of the food producers' performance?
Yes, I mean, Premier was a case in point, only recently listed, a year or so ago. These numbers, you start at the top with the revenue just over 3%, but then as you go down the income statement, the margins improve till you get to quite a strong growth on the bottom line. But generally, the producers have been struggling. We've seen from ABI talking about high inflation rates still, high interest rates. The impact of the high inflation still in the system, as well as that unemployment rate, all of that impacting disposable incomes, people's ability to spend. There are certain food purchases that you need to make, but some of them, the biscuits and the like are more discretionary. So, they suffer in that regard. So I think, and on the fishing side also, pretty weak from I&J. Yeah. So mixed bag from them. I think the market saw those numbers as fairly disappointing.
Yeah,
it was actually Quantum Foods as well. Sorry, that was slightly better than expected.
Yeah, no, it was actually quite interesting because AVI there, I specifically saw that there was just a little bit of a more subdued tone than usual. Let's go into Bidcorp because that's on the other side of the spectrum. They had their capital markets update saying that the business continues to grow in line with expectations, of course, even though they also talk about a tough macroeconomic environment, but still managing to produce a revenue at record highs. We did see that shares surging 6%. Is this really just another story of the defensiveness, another testament of the defensiveness of the company?
Well, they're pretty much also, in a lot of the discretionary food space as well. It's supplying restaurants and the like. So 90% of their business is offshore, as they indicated. So a very strong rand hedge, I think a favorite amongst local investors and asset managers. So again, I think today probably that 6% gain is just about what it's done for the year now. It has been quite subdued in a tough economic environment, tough macroeconomic environment. So potentially, maybe just a little positive outlook. And then, of course, the weaker rand certainly helps. That just falls down to the bottom line, or at least the share price anyway.
All right. Well, let's get into your stock pick for today, Craig. What are you choosing?
A company called Constellation Software, as the name indicates, it's in the software space. They are a company that goes out and looks for other, producers of software in particular industries or verticals, as they call them, and looks for those. They look for good companies. They look for exceptional companies. Those of them that have got good management, they're strongly profitable and above average growth. They buy those companies and let the managers run with them. And the good companies that they find, maybe they just help them out a bit to turn them into exceptional companies. But it's all about the software. It's a Canadian listed company. And I think, even though it's had a strong run this year, it's probably one of those compounding growth stocks you'd like to have in your portfolio.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights there, Craig. That was Craig Pheiffer from Sasfin Wealth.